Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Plurk, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 12th of August, 2013. And this is episode 39, Waiting Impatiently. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. Okay, so this week, what have I done? I redid a chair, kind of. The owners of the house we're renting left two Adirondack chairs and I wanted to redo them. So I am halfway done. One is completely done. Parts needed to be sawed off because their dogs chewed on them and rot had set in. They moved a few months ago and the chairs had been left to weather outside. So I had to saw some things off, sand things down, paint them. One chair is done, the other is in the process of being sawed apart. We don't have a power saw right now. We have one. It's just not hooked up and all the stuff. So I'm just using a handsaw instead. It's taken a little time, but I really like the way the first chair turned out. Looking forward to making the second chair as well. Also been sawing down an apple tree in our backyard slowly, again with a hand saw. If I had a chainsaw, that tree would be down and done, no problem, but I don't have a chainsaw. Bow saw instead. Those are the big things that happened here, or are happening here. The temperature craft along, still going strong until next year, May 27th. Here are what my socks look like. And a little bit past the back. These are going to get kind of boring because it's supposed to be 80s for the next few weeks projected. So I probably won't show them next week because they'll look pretty much the same, a little bit longer, but no striping. The tag for that is BPHTEMP. And details are in the show notes and the chatter thread in the Ravelry group. So today starts a new craft along. Yay! We're doing the VKN Friends craft along, which means you can use a pattern and or a yarn from one of my VKN friends. The list is in there's a post on the blog where the show notes are, and there's a post on the Ravelry group where you can find all of the people, links to pattern pages, links to yarn shops, and there's going to be one added on Friday. My friend Fiona, who lives in Australia, she has Solar Flare fibers, and she will be opening Friday, Thursday. I don't know, it's tricky because she's in the future. So I think it's going to be her Friday, which is our Thursday, but I could be making that up. I'll post a link, or I'll post something in the enabling thread when she opens so that you can go see her stuff. But keep in mind, it's coming from Australia, so it might take some time. If you're near Australia, that might be a good option for yarn if you want to use a yarn by one of my friends. The tags for those projects will be BPHVKN. You would think I could say that without tripping over it, but no. There are prizes. There are 4 prizes now. The first is this awesome project bag that my friend Haley made. And a choice of pattern from Hillary, who is Hippie Penguin. A skein of 716 Boss in We Don't Have Cable, so we have to make our own fun from 716 Knit, Jenna. And Fiona, who is starting Solar Flare Fiber, is going to donate a skein of yarn as well. I'm really jealous of whoever wins any of those prizes, really. I am planning to make a pair of rock strata mitts, which were really popular in the pattern giveaway thread. I've already drawn for the pattern. Gwen, who is Sit and Knitty, won that, and I gifted her the Royal Iris. So congratulations, Gwen. But anyway, that pattern, Rock Strata, is really, really popular. And if you are going to make it, I would suggest double dipping in my knit along and in one of two other knit alongs. One goes through the end of this month, and that is the Knit Two Together podcast. They are having a Rock Strata specific knit along. Or you could join in Josh's sort of a knitter knit along that he's having in September for his patterns. Or you could do a pair of Rock Strata mitts for either, and both would be eligible for this knit along. So get started. Today is the start date. That is exciting. The other two patterns that I would really, really like to knit are the Royal Iris by Meltran Designs and It's Share Time by Jenna Meyer of 716 Knit. Really, there are a few other patterns that I want to make, but I don't know if I can make more than 3 in 6 weeks with the other projects that I have going on. What other projects you might want to know? I will tell you because I didn't finish anything this week. I have been spinning away on this superwash merino from All Spun Up. Much less left than there was last week. And this turtle is much bigger. All in browns right now. I'm getting really, really excited about this, so hopefully next week I will be plying. I don't know if that's really realistic. I mean, this is still a decent chunk of fiber to spin, but I am feeling like I might be able to spin all the singles. However, the reason why I'm waiting impatiently is because my sister is visiting, and she'll be here tonight, probably around 9 p.m., and she will be here until Wednesday sometime. So I don't know what we're doing for those days. I might not craft at all while she's here. That's not really realistic. I'm sure that there will be some crafting, but probably not the same amount as normal. I don't know. We'll see. I could maybe spin all that fiber. I really want to say that I'm going to, but I don't know if I can actually do that. I'm also working on this test knit for Jenna, 716 Knit, and it is going pretty well. I will throw this out there that this is not necessarily a beginner-friendly pattern. It is lace, and there are no rest rows. And, you know, it looks better when it's on a foot instead of my hand. But it is really, really pretty. The pattern is brilliant. It's really well written. I haven't come across any errors. I am 4 rounds away from finishing the gusset and moving on to the heel. These socks, they will be done by next week. I'm going to make them shorter socks because my intended recipient likes shorter socks. I'm not going to tell you who it is because holiday gifting time. Yes, I am starting crafting. How about you? I have a really, really long list because pretty much everybody in my family appreciates handmade things. So I'm really excited about that, about the making of gifts. So I have to start now. If you've already started, I would love to hear what you're making or who you're making for, or if you're not going to make, why you're not. Anyway, so here they are. I'm using a US size 1 2.25 millimeter needle and some unknown yarn that I still would really, really love to know what's in it. I have no idea. We're super soft. And don't worry, the person who's going to put these on their feet won't mind that I've had the socks all over my face. I didn't work on the other test knit this week. I did. I think I did like 100 stitches maybe. So not really anything. I worked on the wedding ring quilt by Coates and Clark. This is the Karen 1 pound lavender blue USI or 9 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm done with the octagons. I know I keep saying hexagons. I think it's because the zipper lexagon socks were hexagon shapes, and I was talking about them a lot in VKNs, etc. But I know that these are octagons. Octagons, 8 sides. I know my shapes. I need to know my shapes because my children need to know their shapes. So I've been working on that with them. And now I get to start on the next section of things to make. I'm thinking I'm going to go with white instead of going back to the light purple. But we'll see. I haven't started yet. I'll be starting later today or tomorrow on that. Also started a new project. This is the beginning of the reciprocation by, I didn't put their name down, Fail. It'll be in the show notes. I will have it next week. This is going to be mitts. It's got cable detailing on the back. I had to go down 12 stitches on this mitt. It says that it's made for sport weight yarn and US size 2 needles, so that's what I'm using. It's hand spun, so it's a little bit, it varies a little bit. This is the Greenwood Fibers yarn fiber that I spun. It's 100% BFL, and it was in the Adirondack colorway. So this is what I'll be knitting into some mitts. It's just over half of the cuff. And I read other pattern notes and saw that people were using fingering weight a lot for the pattern. So I don't know. I just had to edit the pattern a little bit, take out 12 stitches. We'll see. Hopefully it'll turn out fine. I like the way it fits now. I'm loving the way this yarn is knitting up. This is the first time that I've really knit with my hand spun. I knit with the very first yarn that I spun, but nothing since then. I did knitting and crocheting with my very first hand spun because there was a lot of it, but it was very thick and thin. I'm looking forward to working on these, and I'm really, really, really liking this yarn. The other thing, sock yarn blanket, of course it got some love. This is my favorite project to work on. This is the project that I pick up in the mornings before anybody else is awake, on the days when I wake up before everybody else, which is not always. Sometimes I am the last person awake. Very, very infrequently though. Maybe once a month. I don't even think it's that frequently. Usually I'm up about an hour before everybody else, and I like to sit in my craft room and work on my sock yarn blanket and watch podcasts. So I start with my sock yarn blanket and then move on to a different project because it does not take an hour to knit one of these small squares. Anyway, here we go. This is what I did this week. Everything with a stitch marker. And that's all of them. I'm really loving working with this, the yarn that I got from the ZK. I just love, the colors are so different because it wasn't just from Kelly, although most of it came from Kelly. There were skeins from other people, so there's just a really big variety in the colors. And I know that I'm really going to enjoy this section. And doing this section is barely going to make a dent in the bag. This bag right here. No, yep, that. That white bag on my shoulder, that is where my ZK yarn is. And it's still mostly full because squares don't take that much yarn. I got something new. I got a pattern. I was gifted a pattern from Lisa of the Knit Two Together podcast, and it is the Waklela Falls by Michelle Dotson. And oh, that's a really good picture. There's no glare. If it could always happen this way, that would be great. Look, it's 2:04. I've started recording a little early today. Steve has the kids because we cleaned this morning and we don't want them to destroy the house before my sister gets here. She won't be here until probably 8 or 9 tonight, but to mitigate the destruction that could happen, Steve took the kids out for lunch. And I stayed home so I could record my podcast. So Lisa, thank you very much for the pattern. She bought it for me because I had just finished the zipper lexicon socks, and she said that I needed another vanilla pattern because I was joking around and saying that some people like to do vanilla stripy socks, and the zipper lexicon socks are totally my version of vanilla socks. They're super easy. You don't have to think too hard once you get the pattern memorized. You just do it. So she said I could have another version of vanilla socks. And I'm really excited to make them. They've been on my wish list for a while. I saw Sadie of the Yarnivore podcast making them, and I was like, those are amazing. I need to make them. And I will soon-ish. Soon-ish. I have a list on my wall of all of the things to cast on and all of the things that are still on the needles right now, which is a lot. I have 10 things, not including long-term projects. That's too many. It should be more around 6. So I'm not letting myself cast on a bunch of new things. My rule for myself right now is that I can cast on a new thing after I've finished 2 things. So I finished the zipper lexicon socks, and I cast on the reciprocation mitts, and I can't start anything else until I finish another thing, which will probably be the Jenna Test knit socks because I really want them to be done. They're really nice. I really love working with the yarn, but they're so close now that they're almost to the heel because I'm making them short socks. My plan is to finish the gusset, do the heel, and then finish out the lace chart and do the cuff. So it won't be a full lace repeat on the leg. It'll be what's left right now, which will be fine based on the pattern. It will still look good. It'll be an excellent length. Or I might finish the Superwash Merino, and that might be my finished thing, because my spinning projects are also counted on that list of things that I have going on. Spinning, knitting, crocheting, those are all in the same bracket for me. My sewing things are not. Obviously, because I haven't worked on those in, about ever. I finished listening to A Storm of Swords last night by George R.R. Martin. Oh my gosh, so good. So much better than season 3 Game of Thrones on HBO. Aside from the fact that the season covers the first half to 3/4 of the book, so there's so much after the season ends that happened in the book. But also the characters are just so much better in the book than they are in the series. If you like the series Game of Thrones on HBO, I highly recommend either reading the Game of Thrones series or listening to it on audiobook. Personally prefer the audiobook. I have a hard time reading the actual books. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know it's the same exact thing. It's just a narrator telling the story, but the gentleman who narrates does a fantastic job. There are some things left to be desired, especially certain female voices. I'm just like, ugh. But once you suspend your expectations of, what a certain character should sound like, specifically a female character, it's really, really good. He does a fantastic job, and I feel bad that I don't remember his name. I don't know. Listen to the audiobook. It's really, really, really good. I'm still reading Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. I actually did pick it up, read a couple chapters this week. The Belgian host who was in the Congo just left. Congo elected their own leader, so now the Baptist missionary family, they are staying through that. So that's where we are in the book so far. And there was just the wife of the minister, she does the first chapter in each section, and that's it. The rest of the book is told by her children, and oh my goodness. In her chapter, she just told some really, really big facts about her husband that totally flesh him out as a character. Makes so much more sense now. I still don't like him, but I'm a little more sympathetic to him. He's not just this horrible person. Not that he's horrible, I feel like he's a man of his time, and I'm very happy that I was not growing up during that time. Based on stories that my mom and her siblings have told me about growing up, other aunts, uncles, my mom's friends. I'm glad that I was not specifically a woman growing up in that time. My list this week is 3 blogs to check out. I don't think that I've mentioned that I like to read blogs, but I do. I like them as much as I like watching podcasts. So I will go through a phase where all I want to do is read blogs, and I'll find a new blog and read all of the posts. Just devour them, usually while knitting or crocheting. Anyway, number 1 is called Life is But an Adventure, and it is written by my best friend. Mary Lee. She just started writing it at the beginning of the month, or maybe the last day of July. I'm not sure. But she posts pretty much every day. And right now she's taking part in the August photo challenge, which is a challenge to blog posters to take off the month of August, because August is a time of like a lot happens, a lot changes during August. School starts, so people are getting themselves or their kids or friends, etc., back into school. Mary Lee specifically does hair, so she's doing, well, she hasn't said, but I'm assuming she's doing a lot of back to school haircuts. Anyway, it's just fun. She has talked about Detroit a little bit, about crafting. It seems like it's going to be a crafting slash stuff to do type blog. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I recommend going over and giving her a look. The second is Michelle Made Me, which is written by Michelle, and she has a son, and they do crafty things together. She does a lot of sewing. She's been getting into quilting lately, which has been fun to see. Her posts are mostly short and quick, a lot of photographs, very visual. I really enjoy it. She has some tutorials out there. It's it's easy to just read a couple posts really quickly and go about whatever else you were doing. And then the third one is called Filth Wizardry. It's written by a mother of four, I believe four, it might be three. She was pregnant. I'm not sure if she has had her fourth. I can't remember. She hasn't posted in a while because, end stage pregnancy kind of gets in the way of certain things. She has a lot of crafty things that involve small children. Also cool for not necessarily small children, but she does a lot of like Easter egg printouts or holiday printouts. She has really cute ideas for letters from the Tooth Fairy. It's really cute stuff using basically junk to make crafts, which is why it's called Filth Wizardry. It's turning junk into cool things so that you can craft on a budget, especially with kids. I hope you've made something fantastic with your sticks and string. I have been knitting away on Gabriel's socks. This is the first time I've picked them up since last time I showed them to you. So, got a few rounds in. I'm mostly trying to save them to work with him, but he hasn't been interested at all this week, so we didn't. And I'm kind of thinking that it would be cool for him to have these for Christmas. I don't know for sure, but we'll see. Anyway, I will see you next week. Bye.